Yeah, we're all on this one. I think whenever y'all are ready, we're
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do a song. This is actually one of the first originals that I ever got pitched. So I actually didn't write this song, but the people that I got the song from, they were like, "Hey, we wrote this song. We really think you'd be great for it." And so they're from out of Nashville, and this is called "When It Cools Off." I can tell you need directions. Well, it's just down that old dirt road. Yeah, it's hot, but hey, don't sweat it. It ain't no secret where we go. It gets hotter when it cools off. We got a riverbank we jump off. Be sure to bring your birthday suit, 'cause underneath that summer moon, it gets hotter when it cools off. Bet your friends they wouldn't like it, so tell them head on back to town. You really ought to try it. Us local girls, we let our hair down. It gets hotter when it cools off. We got a riverbank we jump off. Be sure to bring your birthday suit, 'cause underneath that summer moon, it gets hotter when it cools off. It gets hotter when it cools off. We got a riverbank we jump off. Be sure to bring your birthday suit, 'cause underneath that summer moon, it gets hotter when it cools off. We got a riverbank we jump off. Be sure to bring your birthday suit, 'cause underneath that summer moon, it gets hotter when it cools off. Yeah, when it cools off. Oh, when it cools off. Thank you.
Sounds great.
Welcome back into this month's edition of the Savvy Sounds Music Series. We've got a special guest and members of our band here. Bailey Marie Griggs is here with the Bailey, well, not the entire Bailey Marie band, but a good chunk of it.
I don't even think our whole band would fit in here.
I mean, we'd have to
Like-
stack you guys. We'd have people on
Yeah,
shoulders.
we have people on
and-
shoulders, like
Yeah.
people on the floor.
We've got Greg on lead guitar. We've got Roger, who does guitar and backup vocals. And we've got Scott on drums. Most of you are from the Gaston County area?
Yeah. I'm from Gaston. Yeah.
From Lincoln. Born and raised
Lincolnton.
here. Yes.
Awesome. So this is a very kind of local group, and Bailey, you are all over the place because you've been
Yeah.
here, but then you've spent time in LA, you spent time in Nashville, you've been up to New York and played at the Apollo Theater,
Right.
which I got to start there. I mean, getting
That's
a chance
where it
to
all
play
started,
there.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was 10 years old. It was one of my first trips out to New York, and I actually was supposed to play there the first time, but then it had like a huge blizzard, and they were like, still come out to New York. We're never canceling the Apollo. We don't ever cancel. And they haven't canceled in like, I don't remember what they said, like 20 something years.
Wow.
And we were literally out there. I think it was the day of I was supposed to go out, and it was the day I was supposed to be performing, and they were like, hate to do this to you, but we're canceling.
They're literally.
And we were like, really?
Yeah.
Because we were like, we had a whole, but the good thing was, it was really cool. We were in New York and it had a humongous blizzard, but we got to see like some shows on Broadway, and it was like cool. And then I got to go back, and I've been back 4 or 5 times ever since then, and sang at the Apollo, but it was a really cool experience. It was my first time being on like a big stage.
That's awesome. So you're playing this summer in a lot of different gigs, kind of around Gaston County, up in Lincoln County, and kind of the greater Charlotte area. You guys just played Garibaldi Festival over in Belmont, and I think you're playing in Dallas in June, playing in Gastonia right before 4th of July. What's it like to be able to kind of perform and with a large band backing to, you know, kind of show off kind of how much progress you've made to your home community?
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think one of the best words I can describe it is like unreal almost, because whatever, it's like a totally different vibe of, you know, I've been a single artist forever, and I haven't really had a band. I mean, it's always something that I've wanted to do, but I just never have, first of all, had the time to, you know, get a good group of people together that have enough time to even learn my music or learn anything like that. And so for the longest time, it's been just me. And then we found all of them, and we got together, and we were like, wow, this is really cool. And our first like big show as like the Bailey Band was in Charlotte at Amos's South End. And that kind of, everything kind of came into play ever since then, and it kind of fell right into where it was supposed to be. So I think it's really cool, like being up on stage, and like I feel like everybody kind of feeds off of each other's energy, and I think it's really cool like that.
So I gotta imagine that you guys weren't all just hanging out on like a street corner with a sign that's like, have instrument, will play sort of thing. So how did this all kind of come together and sort of coming together as the Bailey Marie Band?
Well, her dad called me up first, and he said, hey, you know, looking for a drummer, country, and you know, heard about you, wanted to give you a call, see what you thought. And I said, yeah, I don't really play country. I'm kind of a rock guy. And he said, well, do you know any guitar players? And I said, yeah. So I gave him Greg's number. So Greg got in touch with him, and he started playing with Bailey. And Greg calls me up about a week later or so, and he goes, Scott, you need to come take a second look at this. You need to take a look at this. This is really something special. And I said, well, that's fine. Let's get together and have a rehearsal. And you know, and I said, my buddy Jimmy's bass player, you know, he'd be glad to. So we got together at Jimmy's one night, kind of run through some songs, and I said, this sounds pretty good. So I called up Roger and I said, Roger, would you please join this band with us? And he's like, no, I don't have time. And I said, come on, please. And then he finally said, okay. And then he came in, and wow. And it's, you know, then we got a couple of backup singers.
Yeah, we got backups, and that's why we're saying we have so many people in the band that it's really cool whenever you like get to see, like we rehearse all the time, but it's cool to see like what we rehearse and actually put it on stage in front of people. I think that's really cool. Okay, so this is an original song. This one kind of has a funny story. Every single time I play out places, I like telling this story. So I go to Nashville a lot, and I write with many different writers. And this song I happened to write with two guys that I've never written with before. And it took like a whole trip out to Nashville to write, and then we had to go back and write it again. It's like the longest song that I've ever written, and it took the longest time. And I had the song title. It's called Hit and Run. And I had no clue what I wanted it to be about, but the guys were like, you know, we think it would be cool if it was about this. And I was like, oh, okay. So it took a whole different turn than what I originally thought it was going to be about. And so whenever I play it out, everybody's like, oh, that's what that's about. And so this one's called Hit and Run. 7 o'clock on a Friday night, I was waiting outside when you pulled into the drive in that red Chevrolet truck with them KC lights lit up. I climbed inside, you pulled me close, said if you don't mind, let's take things slow. You told me that would be fine as your hand was sliding down my thigh. And don't think you're gonna take me out, spin me around, lay me down. 'Cause my mama didn't raise no fool. Daddy taught me about boys like you. Don't lie and try to use those eyes, hoping we'll collide tonight. If that's what you're looking for, then boy, that may have worked on other girls, but I ain't no hidden let's go for a ride. We drove up past the county line. You couldn't hide what you had in mind. I knew what you were trying to do. 'Cause my mama didn't raise no fool. Daddy taught me about boys like you. Don't lie and try to use those eyes, hoping we'll collide tonight. If that's what you're looking for, then boy, I ain't the one. That may have worked on other girls, but I ain't no hit and run. I ain't no hit and run. And I've had enough, just let me out. I'll find my way back into town. You're acting like you care now. You never did anyhow. 'Cause my mama didn't raise no fool. Daddy taught me about boys like you. Don't lie, try to use those eyes, hoping we'll collide tonight. If that's what you're looking for, then boy, I ain't the one. That may have worked on other girls, but I ain't no hit and run. No, I ain't no hit and run. Ain't no hit and run.
You've obviously played a lot of kind of solo gigs before.
Right.
What's the difference between kind of doing the solo thing and playing with a full band for you?
One of the biggest differences for me is solo and like playing by myself, because I was always on my own. Like, if I mess up, I'm good. I can recover.
Right.
I can't do that anymore. Like, I mean, I definitely still mess up sometimes, but I try my hardest to like know everything exactly to where it's like exactly right every single time. Just so I don't mess everybody else up, because like we said, we have like 8 people and I don't want to be the one to screw everyone up. And so that's been one of the biggest things for me, is like having to stay on with everyone else and make sure I'm listening. And one of the biggest things for me too is whenever I started, like, you know, just playing music, I never did anything with in-ear monitors. And so whenever we were talking about, like, you know, having a full band and having in-ear monitors, I was like, oh, I've never done that before.
Right, a little different.
Yeah, and so I started doing that, which is really different. But other than that, I mean, I feel like it's been pretty easy to, you know, get a hold of the whole band thing. And yeah.
In addition to music, you've also done a little bit of acting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was, a show on Apple TV
Apple
that you
TV,
did, and HBO Max too?
Yep.
How did that come about?
Well, I actually started acting before I started singing.
Okay.
And so I started musical theater when I was super young, and then I started doing acting classes, and I didn't think much of anything that was going to come by it or anything. But as soon as I got, you know, older, one of the biggest things that I've booked was called Swagger, and this is the thing on Apple TV. And Kevin Durant is the producer on it. And so it was a really big show, and it's about, you know, Kevin's life and he is as a basketball player. But it helped me a lot because my role in the show was singing the national anthem, and so it like incorporated singing into the acting. And then since then, I found my acting manager now, which got me the role of Marianne. Just kidding, that was my role in Swagger.
Oh, she's got so many roles. She's trying to keep them straight
I gotta
now.
remember, my name's not Bailey. It's there's Ashley. Ashley's the one I played in Staircase. Ashley's in Perini, and then Marianne is what I played in Swagger. But Staircase was really cool. That was filmed in Atlanta, and I that was a really cool experience. That one's on HBO Max. And so yeah, those have been like my 2 really big. And obviously, I did like background work when I was super young, but
Sure.
Those have been my like big things that I've been in.
So you played a couple of original songs, and folks are going to get to hear that throughout the show today. But what kind of inspires you when you're writing? You talk a little bit about writing with some other people. What kind of do you draw from when you're writing some of your original songs?
I think for me, I started writing when I was about 11, and when I first started, my songs sucked, and like just being honest, they sucked. I think now I love writing late at night and like on my bed, just me, and then obviously I write with other people. But I think some of my most like intimate songs have just been me on my bed at late at night, just trying to play guitar. Or one of my favorite songs that I've written, I have no clue about piano. Like I can try my hardest to learn piano, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm still in the works of learning, but I knew like 3 chords, and then I went and wrote it, and it's called Cold Hands, and it's a really good song, but I had no clue what I was doing. And I remember I made a whole song off of it just because it was late at night, and I was playing piano, and my hands were really cold, and so I made a whole song called Cold Hands. But I think for the biggest thing for me whenever I write music is like I take experiences from like my life, or I take experiences from people around me, or the things I've seen, and I kind of just base the stories off of that.
One of the things that I noted, there was a song that you had posted, like almost a music video to, dealing with addiction. What was kind of the story behind that? Because it was, if I read it correctly, it was somebody that you were close to that was kind of battling that.
Yeah, so I wrote this song actually on a Zoom write, and one of the, like I had this song title in my head, and I didn't really know where I wanted to take it from there, but I showed those guys, and they were like, this is really good. And I was like, this could be a really good addiction song, because I have some people in my family that really struggle with addiction. And so we wrote that song, and we figured that, you know, there's a lot of people in the world that can really relate to that. And so we put it out, and we didn't put it out on like streaming platforms, so we put it out on social media, and a lot of people seem to really enjoy it. So we wrote that just knowing that a lot of people can relate to that type of thing.
If I'm looking at the website correctly, is the newest single that you've put out the November Air? Is that the newest one?
Yes.
What do you like about that song, and do you have a favorite? I often ask artists that, and sometimes I feel like it's saying like, oh, you pick your favorite child sort of thing. But do you have a favorite song that you've written?
I feel like this is going to sound like, I guarantee every single writer can relate to this, but every new song I write is my favorite. Like, I can write a song, and then I'll go show my mom and be like, this is the best song you've ever heard in your life. And then I'll write a new song, and then I'll be like, this is the best song you've ever heard in your life. So I think that's my dilemma. I just think everything that's new I really like. This one's one that I wrote at Nashville with 2 girls, actually. It's the opposite of the last one. And we were like, what should we write about? And we were like, well, we're all girls, and I feel like we can all be a little crazy. So we wrote a song about it, and this is called All Little Crazy.
Crazy.
All right, guys. So, what is the goal for the Bailey Marie Band going forward? I mean, this is something that it seems like there's a lot of momentum going forward. What are your guys' hopes and dreams for accomplishments and things that you'd like to achieve?
You're looking at me. If you look at me, I would say, just continue playing these festivals are really fun. Bigger stages, bigger shows. We kind of started out in the smaller breweries and bars, but I'm going to do some more showcase stuff, maybe open for some national bands, that kind of thing, and then, maybe travel out to Nashville. She goes to Nashville about once a month, and so we'd maybe make a couple trips out there with her and hit some of those spots.
Not a bad place to be.
This fall,
Well, there's travel opportunities popping up, but we've been building this thing since last year, and it seems like each time we play, more energy gets behind it, more people notice it, more people start calling Bailey and blowing her up, and her mom, who's her manager, blowing her up with opportunities. We're like triple booking some of these days. Like,
wow.
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
we booked 3 gigs in the same day.
Right. I'm not going to have any voice left by the end of the day.
That's been a real issue.
I believe it.
Yeah.
We do some covers also with her, but we fell in love with the originals. I mean, we've heard the covers. The originals. I was telling our mom the other day that they're just so deep.
Yeah.
Especially for her age. Most of the songs you hear today are just very, very simple, but she's got some really deep ones there.
Really
So I
good
really enjoy
songs.
those.
Since Roger spoke up, he's been in contact with Bailey's team in Nashville, who have all of the tracks and everything to every song she's written by the bands in Nashville. And
Okay.
Roger's been in communication with them, making sure we get every one of these songs right. Bailey should check with Bailey exactly the way she wants them, So they're dialed in. So when you hear us live, I mean, these things are practically like the way they're coming off of a streaming service.
So we'll throw everything up on the screen in terms of the gigs where
Yeah.
you can find Bailey Marie Band playing later on this summer. Got Dallas coming up middle of May.
May.
Dallas is
Yeah,
from
May 11th.
Yeah, it's coming up.
from this Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's Gastonia, the concert series coming up on June 21st.
Yeah.
But if people want to check out more, where do they need to go? Website, social media, all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
so my Facebook is Bailey Marie Griggs, and Instagram it's Bailey_Marie 2007, and all of my music is on all streaming platforms under Bailey Marie Griggs, and so I post everything on my social media.
Well, good deal. Well, the Bailey Marie Band and Bailey Marie Griggs, thank you so much for coming in and joining us on this month's Savvy Sounds. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month.